Let there be peace and love. Welcome to Satsang. You are always the self, the true nature, which alone is. And if it doesn't appear so, it's because one looks from the mind. And from the mind one will see diversity, because what is the mind? It's duality, which leads to multiplicity, endless. If you see from the self, there is only self. A word to say, to try to express what is never graspable, because you are it. It's a bit like there is a cup in a space. And if you look through the mind, the cup is big and small and discolored. It's full, it's empty, it's half this, it's half that, and the story starts. Now, the space inside the cup and outside the cup is exactly the same space. And that there is a cup or no cup, the space is exactly the same. It's not less. As you add a cup, it's not more. The space is always the same. It's a way to try to describe what is this real nature which abides in all the hearts, every heart of human beings, of beings. It's like if one speaks of death and birth, he speaks of the body, the mind. He speaks from the body, from the mind. The world of appearance, the world of changes. Unreal by nature. Now, if one realizes the self, the body and the mind could be described as an envelope which disappears, and the self as is not more realized or less realized. Whatever we see is unreal by nature. So it's urgent, because we are mortal, it's urgent to solve this search. Who am I in reality? What is this self spoken endlessly by the wise? If they speak about it, they realize it, so I can do too. But the mind will delay, inventing a lot of stories. So at some point one is fed up with this mind and understand suddenly that if he listens to the mind, which will go on endlessly, if you don't put a stop, he will nourish the cycles of the death and birth. I don't know what I was telling. Death and birth, okay. We are not death and birth.
End the story.
Anyway, it's to tell you that it's urgent not to confuse oneself with a belief, with a concept, with a wish, with an emotion, with an appearance, with a sense. All what I named is the life of samsara. Means all what appears and so disappears, which one cannot control, but one can realize that it's just an appearance. And it appears where? To that which can see it, on that which is the background of it. And that's what one is. If it is not clear, or if you have a doubt or even a conviction, if one experience which looks so important stays because of a conviction, maybe it's doubtful. Anything which is too much, please stay. What is too much will never give you happiness or peace.
Can I ask something?
Yeah. Hi.
Hello.
What's your name?
My name is Shabnam.
Shabnam. Very nice.
So I have this, it's very difficult for me to accept that I'm getting old and the body is becoming more fragile and losing abilities.
Yeah.
So I discovered that when I realize something of that, I panic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I either react like I fight against it to cure myself, or I give up or distract myself. So I find myself moving between these two polarities, and I can see that I miss this point where I can gracefully accept what is happening to me, but I don't find that point.
You need not accept because you are not what you described. Why should you accept something you are not? Because then it's like a bag. You accept a bag, you can lose it again. And then what? The search will be again what? You should not accept. Because you see, you are already what you are not. All what you describe, you are not. You see? And if you think you are, you suffer, as you say. Oh, and you cannot stop that. Time is unstoppable. Except when you see it's an illusion. It's unreal. So I'm not that. If I can see that, I'm not that. Have you seen that whatever you describe, you cannot be it? Have you seen it? Because it's easy to say for a bottle, for example. You agree that if you see the bottle, it's because you are not it, yeah? You agree with that. But you can do that with everything you utter, feel, know, and describe. Because then it's in front of you. That's why you can see it, or describe it, or experience it. So, the way of self-investigation, that direction I tried to tell you, is the only way to not to fall into fears and utopias to keep a body or a mind eternally young. Because once you realize yourself, a death becomes a happening, an event in this world of birth and death. I expressed like this today, even though I may change my words, but it's an envelope which appeared and which will disappear. And you are not more or less through a birth or through a death of a body when you realize your real nature. Because now you run after an utopia. It's impossible. Even acceptance you will see, you cannot keep it all the time. And then at some point, you will be very frustrated, having made so much effort in acceptance, and for any reason, it will blow away. So you are always in front of an utopia, means a dead end. Maybe you have to find another way.
No. But right now I just feel at a loss. But I know
Yes, you are at a loss. I agree. As a person, you are at a loss because everything was born, grew so well, at the peak of youth or whatever, and decay. You cannot stop that. And people who think that they do a lot to maintain, it's not even in their hand. It was because it was meant like this. But anyway, everybody dies as a body and mind. So what? What do we do then? Ask the real question. So, who experiences this? Who thinks is the body, the mind? You see? And this who as a root, as a source. So, instead of being fascinated by I have this body or I am this body mind, you go to who and find out the source of it. Then the fascination for a while is cut off. You go with who.
Yes, I've printed 4 questions.
Okay.
Because I was not sure that I would remember.
Good.
You want to print?
Yes?
Yes? No, I don't have to read them. So.
Yeah, but I will read loudly. I will read them. Okay. So, it is said that you experienced enlightenment on a particular day. Could you tell us what happened and what it means? Are you addressed to me?
Yes, sure.
Okay. It's easy.
For you.
If it is on a particular day, it must be an event. Yeah. So there was this event of enlightenment. It can happen many times, I tell you. But the particularity is that I knew that the event of enlightenment was not it. And that saved me.
That
Saved me.
saved you. So,
I thought she would make it more clear, but it's more.
so
Anyway,
you, I mean,
I
it
realized
lasts forever. You have
not the event, because I didn't confuse the event of enlightenment, which somehow may have to happen to everyone,
Yes.
because it's the end of the search, in a way. But it means that how can you see that? It's because at the same time you realize that you always have been yourself. You have just been confusing yourself, your real self, your real nature, for somebody in an event.
Sorry, I didn't. I didn't.
No, I understand. It
No.
is always about this I. I.
Yes.
You say I, no, je.
Yes.
We wake up with I. Before sleeping we say I,
Yes.
and in dreams we say I. Of course we could dream that we are mad, so we say you maybe, but for I. But it's still I. So one has to find out, but what is this I? There is nothing wrong with I. What is wrong is the confusion glued to it. And the confusion is, I am born, event. I have a personal life full of events. I die, another event. Two major events in between, the birth and the death. So one confuses I as body-mind is born and dies. So you have to solve, rather than the death which is not yet there for us, we have to solve, am I born after all? And all the answers you will have will concern your body and your mind.
Yes, but then what happened? I mean, you said it didn't happen. What happened?
But this exactly that I realized that the true nature I was searching so much was always there. I am always this real nature. This is what I am.
You understood that you were existing before birth and you will exist after, or
You
what?
can say so, yes.
How did
Time
it
is
come?
in-
I mean,
How it came?
yes.
Through a very long years of self-investigation and through the company of my master, who was all the time indicating that which I understood through layers, and every time some kind of enlightenment was coming, happily was quite thrown away quickly because it was still an understanding in the mind or an experience.
I understand that there's something after the dead, maybe something before. So I have nothing against this idea. For me also, I had some experiences. I fainted and I was in a place where everything was there in one point. All the people were there.
Yeah.
All the space-time was in one point and everything was inside that. And it was light and it was nice. And so I would say that for me, I experienced this thing happen. But
No, you have experienced other layers of the mind, of a cosmic mind or whatever, of a vaster mind. You see? Because you still see people and all that.
no, I didn't really see people.
Even the light.
Yeah.
The light. The light. Light needs a seer to see, to be seen. You are the seer, you are not the
Can you
light.
tell me in French what is a seer?
Celui qui voit.
Yes, yes. Un voyant.
Le voyant.
Okay. So,
And we confuse always ourselves for what is seen. And that will never stop the search. Or it stops at some points when you have a major experience, but it will go again. It will go away, it will fade away.
yes.
Yeah. You will have a remembrance, but then
Yes.
it doesn't. If you don't have a memory, then what? Realization is not in the memory, you see.
So, where is it?
Where is it? Let me not search again. It's here, what to say.
I understand it's difficult to explain by
Yeah.
words and to understand also.
Can I go on the second part?
Yes, but it's a bit, maybe if you don't like the second, because it's a bit...
Well, if I
you
don't
can
like, I
jump to
will
the
tell
third one
you.
as you like.
I understand that. I understand that according to Advaita, the world stops existing when we sleep. Is that right? Ah. The world stops existing when one sleeps because one sleeps. It doesn't see the world. And I'm sorry to say such a funny sentence, but what about the other person who see me asleep and may take a photo of me sleeping? Yes, it. Okay. You see, there is a dream, personal dream, and a cosmic dream. But I don't want to enter that. These are different experiences. If you have enough with to understand like that, okay, I sleep, I don't see the world, right? I don't see the others. But I have an agenda before I sleep. The agenda is to wake up in the same bed and to see my beloved ones and the ones I don't like too.
What do you expect?
Yeah, that's what you have, an agenda. It is not questionable. Because of that, everything comes back the same.
So if I expel this agenda, if I don't expect anything when I wake up, then...
You will wake up probably in the same waking up,
In the same
but
room.
you will not have the confusion that who you really are woke up. It's the body-mind which belongs to the world which woke up. I think you don't understand that everything will be the same, doesn't change.
Yes.
The thing which disappears is the confusion of the belief. When you realize the realization doesn't depend on a belief, and when you don't realize everything depends on beliefs, on the mind. Like the cup, you see. If you think you are a cup, you will speak of the inside of the cup and of the outside of the cup. If you see the cup from the space, that there is cup or no cup, all is space. The cup is included when it appears, and when it disappears, it's no more there. I don't know if I'm clear. If this other person stop existing when I sleep, what could be a realization? Yeah.
So I think you answered to the
Yeah.
last part.
Yeah. Right. Troisième. Third. I asked you once, where do you get your answers from? You answer from my master. So where your master got his answer from a former master maybe, what if this master were wrong? You know that the word master means the self. The master
I
is
didn't
not
know.
a body and a mind. We need, as long as we take ourselves as body-mind, we need a guide in body-mind to have the language I will understand. But actually, all this self-knowledge which indicates and points out always to the self, to what's real, is from the self. So there, we have not to go back to generation or to filiation. It is direct. 4. You are a nice and friendly person. Not always. Some of your followers revere you so much that they kneel in front of you as if you were divine. No. They kneel because what they hear helps them to empty themselves. So out of gratitude to the self, to finally find a way to go to realize I'm the self just now, sometimes make those gestures. And it would be, and also it can be, if you don't find already yourself, that you have so much trust and devotion to the indication given by the guide, for example, that you have this gesture. But the one who gets the gesture knows very well to what they bow.
What they bow?
They bow, to what they kneel.
Ah, yes, bow, yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, it would not be right. Doesn't it discomfort you or annoy you? I don't allow it often, and everybody knows, but sometimes, it happens.
Okay, thank you.
Please. Voila. Shall I keep it? If I give you, you will keep your questions.
I have another.
So keep the answers, chew them a little bit, so that you have not to ask the same question.
Thank you.
In India, you see, this gesture is often coming from India. In India, it is also to remind you that you are in front of the direction to yourself. That you are in front of the self in embodied that will always remind you about what you are. It will not give you an object. So it's a reminder too. But we are in the West. So we do it more inside. Because of pride, Westerner pride. But it's good also. Otherwise, it creates, you see, this idolatry and all that. Good.
I'm a bit sleepy.
Yeah. Sleep? Yes, please.
It's my first time hearing
Okay,
presence.
welcome.
I'm born Indian, and in India it's a tradition when babies are born, they'll make an astrological chart
Yeah.
to see what this baby is here to
Yeah.
do. Every time it came to my siblings, they said, "Oh, very good, very good." The astrologer would say, "Very good, very good." Every time it came to me, they'd be like, "Something is off," and I'm the only one who has walked this path of searching. So in a way,
In your family, you mean?
in my family. So in a way, is it then predestined in a way? This searching, it's like, because when I look inside, I feel like a part of me wrote this for me in this dream.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just concept theory right now. It's not
Yeah.
grounded, but
Yeah.
I trust the divine intelligence
Yeah.
to know that it would not just give astrology to people for nothing.
Yeah.
There is a science, a very old science behind it. So then walking in this path of self-inquiry, is it helped by the planetary movements and in astrology? Is something is walking hand in hand there, and it's too much information based, but
No, I understand. It's the general beliefs, you see. Okay, very good. You went to astrology, and it's true. In your country, it is like that. There is a beauty in it. There is a very long science and tradition about it. They say amazing things also. It's true. Now, self-investigation is exactly to be freed from any preconceived idea of what I will become in the future, in this life. You see? Self-investigation, in order to be self-realized, you have to free yourself from any conditioning that you think you have. And you realize suddenly that you were never conditioned, and the one who is born is the story of a body-mind with a certain luggage that you may have to be alone in your family in this path, it is clear. But to hear, know enough of all these beliefs, the self that I am, which is always there, doesn't need a belief to be. And all the rest belongs to the body-mind. Yeah. You see that you believe in predestination or no predestination. In fact, it blows away with the self-investigation. Because it has meanings only in this world, whatever layers we touch about this consciousness. I say consciousness, the first expression of the self. So I'm not inclined to give answers to that. Shortcut, and see what was already there before you were born, and which is still there, and which will always be there. That is the priority. You want to ask me something or to tell me something?
Yes. It was about the question. What happened to the question when it falls out? Where does it go?
From where it came. From
Yes.
where it came. What could it be? Now you tell me. What could it be?
What?
What could it be? You speak of the question,
Yeah.
then you ask where it goes when it disappears.
Yes.
So you have seen it disappearing.
It went into silence.
It's too much to say.
Oh,
If you
yeah.
don't say anything, what happens?
It wasn't there anymore. Is it not there anymore?
Yes, yes. It's what you are. And if you say silence, you will again cover. You will again search because silence will go. That's it. But keep quiet. Keep quiet a moment there. Again, again. So that this becomes alive rather than other things. So your name will be Raman. Raman.
Raman.
Yes. Coming from our grand-grandfather. Ramana, Raman.
Raman. Ramana.
You say Raman, short.
Wow.
I don't want to monopolize the question. But
You don't.
What happened now brings me to another fifth question. I'm a bit. I don't appreciate so much when Europeans take Indian names, and because to me one of
He asked it. He asked for a name.
Oh yes. But
Since years he asked for a name.
I meet some of you in the front in town, in front of other people. And if I call with an Indian name, they look at is an European or she's an European.
Yeah, who
And
cares? Who
why?
cares, my dear? Who cares? Oh,
Who cares?
who cares?
No, but I feel
But that's your problem.
my friend, if I meet a friend of mine, he doesn't know about this, doesn't know about
Doesn't
Saturn.
matter. He
Maybe
will
someone
know.
from-
He will. Maybe through the name, he will know that something exists. Something different exists.
But I'm a bit, for me,
Yeah, but
concerned.
okay, it's
Yeah.
your problem. It's not.
It's like I was living in Sri Lanka, and one of the sister of my wife, she was Sri Lankan, so she was called Rose. For me it was a Western name, and I found it strange, because she's an Asian and she has a Western
Listen,
name.
I will tell you why some they don't care to keep the name of their birth, which is still right, because anyway we have to be disidentified with a name. But for some, in the journey, in the search for liberation, it helps them. That's why they ask. It's never given like that. It's the one who asks for it. It helps them to cut off more easily from the past. You see,
Maybe,
that
yeah.
is the meaning. So it's meaningful for those, not meaningful for others, maybe, but who cares?
Ganga, may I ask something?
Yeah, I thought you asked a name. Yeah.
So what's with the power of the appearance?
The power
So
of the
I was very
appearance.
busy with the self-inquiry the last 2 years,
Yeah.
but there's a some hypnotizing power from the appearance.
Yes, that's why self-investigation is given. Because exactly we have been fascinated by the appearance since ages, you can say. You see? And it will still appear even when you realize who you are, but you will not have this hypnotism. That's why this tool of self-investigation or extreme devotion to the Master is given. And now you find that it is as strong as before? I mean, is it there all the time, the fascination?
No.
Ah. Okay. So,
But also the trying to change bad habits and all this stuff.
oh no, this I never said.
Is gone,
Ah.
So,
Yeah.
so my bad habits
They continue.
just developing, somewhere.
Yeah, sure.
Because there's
Okay,
no
you are a
one who tries
bad
to-
boy doing self-investigation, and it's much more important than to be a good boy without self-investigation, to my eyes. It's okay.
I didn't get that.
You are a bad boy doing self-investigation. Yeah?
With
Loving to do self-investigation. I prefer that than to be a good boy without self-investigation.
Yeah, it's not about good boy, it's about the ideas, the concept. I have to be this and this way, and then
But that's what
I
I
will get
say.
enlightenment. Or
That's
then
what
will
I
get
say.
spirit.
You don't understand. That's what I say.
So
If
it's
you
a
want
very-
to be this and that, you want so to be better than what you are now to you. No?
I didn't get the last sentence.
If you want to transform,
Transform,
huh?
yes.
It means that you are not happy with the personality or the person you know of yourself. You want to change for better.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good boy.
Yeah. But this is not a natural power of the body-mind system to always get more.
But we want to be
Optimize the
freed from that. Of course, if you listen to your mind, if you believe you are a person, you want to have to show and to have to yourself and to others a better image. This is the illusion of the world. This is the work in the world. All the therapies they have their good, very good about it, but it works on the personality. While self-investigation works on removing the concept, I am a person. So the target is very different.
So it's not about improving humanhood.
No. But you see, a realized person may lose interest in the world or continues the life he had before. He will not be worse than what he was.
Yeah, but I struggle also with this. The things make me some joy, so give me some happiness. Then I think, oh, this is also just has a beginning, has an end. So why to be busy with this stuff? But on another point, it makes me happy to make music or to.
But you can.
But
I didn't.
Feel I get pulled into the appearance again.
Yeah.
And I lose the inquiry, and then I come back to the inquiry. I do some months inquiry, then I get lost again. I come back again. And this is like a game from the mind.
You see, the one who takes the path for I want to realize, but I want to realize, first of all, in the myriads of suggestions of the mind, to pick up this one is very particular. So if you take it, you will do a lot to make it happen. Otherwise, why should you pick up this one? There are so many others very attractive for the mind. So if you pick up that, it's true that you will have a life of self-investigation. And this is the price of it, for its success. You have not to complain, it's hard or whatever. It's because you want, it's a question of life or death for you. And if it is not yet, still do. But know that it's not yet ripe, that it will happen now. You see? But still, I would very much encourage to still do it. And then you will see yourself. There will be experiences. There will be a change in your interest, in the sense of change of your fascination. There will be you. That is the life of a seeker. And you can do things while saying, okay, who is loving to make music? Is this body-mind? And you continue your music, and when it ends, you go back to self-investigation. I don't believe in detachment in this way. You see? Have your life. Anyway, this body has a life.
Body mind must do something.
But that's what I say. Have your life. But investigate at the same time. Because that takes a second to investigate. A second. You can steal a second here and there.
So what's about the experience of horrible aloneness? Some really waking up in the night and I got some feeling, I don't know, very ugly,
Then
and
you have to catch
when I did a lot of self-inquiry.
Yeah.
I woke up and I didn't know anything anymore. Not my name.
You have to catch the feet of your guru, catch the feet of Ramana, catch the feet of Papaji. What to do? They are there. The feet means a body. You can see that you catch, you are not alone.
I listen to all the satsangs from Robert Adams.
Yeah.
When I'm honest.
Yeah.
So, But
Yes.
that's why I'm here, because he's dead, and Papaji is also dead, and that master cannot strike you.
Well, the master is alive, huh? I believe.
So you don't agree that you need a living master?
Yeah, I
And,
do. The master is alive, so you need a living master.
this is, it's very difficult to know what the mind really is, or to spot it really, to
No? It's the most easy. Whatever you can feel. Listen. Whatever you can feel. Whatever you can understand. Whatever you can describe. Whatever your sense can grasp. So it means whatever is apparent.
Yes, but this means that the whole universe is an emanation of my mind,
Yes, my dear.
including body
And not only of my mind, of I. I am somebody.
I thought.
I am somebody, so the world is. Appears. Yeah. It is part of the experiences you get with self-investigation, you see, to see clearer, to understand better, to have insights, and so on. But you have not to stop that. Excellent. You see, the self gives you some toffees, very good, so that you don't go away. But you have not to stop at that. Huh?
Yeah, but what brings the doubt is the helplessness with the life,
Yes.
No, because
But that's-
at one point you don't know what should I do with this life, I'm totally pissed off of everything, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you are so
completely-
pissed off, maybe it's good that you have a life of a seeker, and that's it. That you will not be pissed off because it's a self-investigation. And your livelihood will be to make it possible to have satsang more often and all that. So it gives a meaning. That's why some people, they want to live in ashrams or they want to live where satsang is happening because the life has no more such a meaning for them.
Places where I have been, where the people just live in ashrams, it's more mindfuck than a normal life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you, but be busy with your own. Okay, it gives you some discrimination. So go on. Don't be so much busy with what others do. No, you do for you.
Yeah, but I cannot practice anymore. No meditation, no qigong.
And self-investigation.
Yeah, this is good.
And
This is
qigong
good.
is good for your body.
Yeah, but who cares?
Okay, who cares? Very good investigation, but then go there. Don't say simply who cares. Who
I was
cares?
teaching this for 25 years. It's always the same game, It's just games.
I don't disagree with you. It's part of the discrimination.
It's always I I has the idea that I go this way, I do this thing, and then on the end I will be happy. When I go from point A, I go to point B, and at point B, I will be happy.
No.
And this
You
is
go-
never happening, you know.
You
It's-
go to
You can meditate
You
certain
go
things
from, listen, you go from point A and you end prior to A.
So I can fly, I can go back home.
Good you came, we have a good laugh.
But prior to A is nothing. Nothing to experience.
It's even less than nothing.
It's still the idea I have to experience some split second or something. I have to
It's an idea.
Yeah, but it's
It
very
troubles
strong.
you. Huh?
It's very, yeah.
It's troubling. You want to keep a troubling idea?
No, but
Ah.
I want the split second.
It will happen when you don't take this idea. The split second is not in the future, it's prior.
and the Advaita, also a concept. The concept that there is body, mind, and the self. For me, it's also a concept, isn't it? So we don't get rid of concept
We do.
because what I told you was that you have the concept of the body, the concept of the mind, and the concept of the self, and all this is a concept. So we are locked into concept.
No, because we free ourselves from this concept. So these all are concepts. I'm not that. So where are you left? I'm not that, so I don't touch them for a moment. Where are you left?
We don't know. I mean,
Okay,
for me,
you keep quiet there. Because if you know, you go in your mind.
yeah.
Advaita means something which is not in the mind.
Sorry, Advaita.
Yeah, it's called Advaita, means
Not in the mind.
no two. Dvaita is two, duality, mind.
Yeah.
Advaita means where there is no mind.
Mm.
So you cannot understand it. What you can understand is what it is not.
Yeah.
And if you see this is not, where are you left? Keep quiet.
And
Then see. Go and see. Do it and see yourself.
I can have some
Okay.
as you say, split second, even more, maybe 1 or 2 seconds.
Then do it again.
But,
Fall
nothing.
in love with that. What's missing with you is that there is a lack of devotion for it. Fall in love with that. It's priceless. It ends your misery. It ends your birth and death cycles. It's so valuable, you don't know. That's why I have to tell. Once you know, you will love it.
How can I know?
I tell you.
I don't know.
And I
understand.
say, I repeat what the wise say. The wise.
Yes,
Wise.
the wise people, yeah.
Yeah. They know. Now it's up to a good luck or not to have trust in the wise. One trusts in the wise when it fits exactly what you want, what's your desire, your demand, the priority of your demand. Then it fits. The mind is so arrogant, you see, that he will say, then what? Oh, boring. Only that. All this for that only. The mind will comment. And if you are taken by the comment, you are again in the cycle. You should not listen to any argument nor thought or how you call that, observation of the mind. To make what's here always your fact, a fact, a fact. And if you don't know that secret, you fall into this cynicism and so on. You see? And that is the judgment and the reading of the mind only. Fake, it's fake.
My wife really wanted to be here, my ex-wife, like early today, and it was my fault that we were late.
It's okay.
Maybe we can ask her to come and sit here. She really wanted to sit in the front.
Yeah, she can.
That's sort of spiritual.
Maybe we need a free, but you can take the pillow.
Thank you. Is there any good way of letting go of the arrogance and the pride and the idea of like your own power? Like some way to like clean it more?
The desire for freedom. That burns everything else. It's the same, the desire for freedom when it is 100% is the same than realization of the self. Let it be your priority. And continue the life you have, but let it be your priority. So, self-investigation is very good for that. You know what it means.
Yeah, you check that there's nobody there. You feel whether the person is right, and then you don't find anything, and you, whenever stuff comes up for like an identity, you check that there is actually nothing there.
Oh, but that's already realization if you find that there is nobody there. Why you still go on searching then?
Well, every time you try and find the person there is actually nothing, right?
Okay, but then you keep quiet there.
Yeah, that's why.
There is nothing else to do. Why should you clean a person which is unreal by nature? Hey!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And whatever appears again belongs to the person which is in the world of the appearance. You have not to transform that, you have not to touch that, it's enough to know that.
Just stay, just do nothing, just relax, just let everything be.
I don't know if it is a relaxation or a tremendous effort, but you just be there. And when you feel not because of habits, go back there again. That's all.
Perfect. Thank you.
Personally, I don't like much those words, relax and all that, because it looks like very much in therapy or in massage session, you relax, but the effect is not liberation. Why should you relax? It's not about relaxing. It is not about relaxing. There is no attitude for that. It's just to allow not to stick to anything. Do you find it's a relaxation? I find it's immense waking up. Otherwise you fall into sleep if you relax.
You only fall asleep in the beginning. If you stay quiet long enough, then like the sleep will not come anymore.
No, but you will be in a state of quietness then.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's not that. It's not that. Hear something else. Are you open to hear something else?
Of course I am.
It's better to wake up than to prepare with some fantastic state of tranquility. It will not help. You will not wake up from tranquility. You wake up from arrogance.
So you have to make effort.
I don't know what we have to make.
What I have found is that if you say if you just don't go with anything that the mind brings, then at some point it just gets to the point that the peace is so great that nothing that the mind can offer is worth going with it. So it just completely just to relax and don't.
No. Listen. Try to listen.
Okay.
So peace is there. I totally agree with you. But peace becomes then a state. So that also you don't touch. And that needs just a split second of waking up or of not touching it.
Peace. Okay.
And then stay there. Don't stay at the peace.
Okay. Otherwise you get stuck with peace.
That's what I try to tell you. Wake up from peace. Okay.
It's difficult not to get stuck with the peace. Because the peace
No,
feels
because
so
you
good.
love it.
Yeah, it feels
But
so
you
good.
have tasted it quite a long time now. Not yet enough?
Yeah, probably enough, yeah.
Well, when it will be enough, then come to me. Otherwise, sleep in your peace. Yeah, when you have enough. It's only when you have enough, huh? When you see, oh, but it's poison actually, in disguise. Because this doesn't allow me to realize. Why should I like it again?
But I can't force it, right?
You can want it so much that it has to happen now.
It's getting more and more like that.
Yeah, it's getting...
To actually actually feel love.
Yeah, great.
Really.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming.
Feels like that. I really appreciate your pointings, by the way.
You have a good face. Look at his face. Yes.
This burning inside is so strong.
Yes. But I'm happy to hear that, because then what's missing? Maybe nothing is missing.
I watched your Buddha at the Gas Pub interview. I think it was last night, and I feel like you felt when you sat there for 8 months waiting for Babaji to come back.
Yeah.
That, like,
But that was not enough. It looks like
I know.
it was enough to make him come.
It took you 27 years to realise. I was like, no, I don't have 27
No. I'm a bad student. Don't worry. Everybody is different.
It's just so, like, it wakes me up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And
Yes, being on fire, you
on
see.
fire.
Otherwise, other fire will eat you up.
Yeah.
This is the thing. It's a simple law, So be caught by this fire. Now, this incarnation is for it. I shall not miss so many times the chance. And why not soon? Now. Huh? Like that. Because after all, you are already it. So why to delay? Only if you listen to the mind. So don't listen to the mind, once for all. You are squeezed in between. Maybe you did this. This is the point. If you could listen, don't listen to your mind, which brings emotions, experiences, concepts, and whatnot.
So who is the one who is not listening to his mind?
If you could keep quiet, you would not ask this question, and you would be it, obviously. Very nice.
Yeah, it just came up, so...
The mind always comes up, just now, like that. When will you not listen to the mind? The mind will never, but try to hear, never, ever give you a help in this realization of the self. So don't listen to the mind.
I'd be better with don't touch, because don't listen.
Don't touch it.
I was very busy with this question, who is the one who makes all this effort?
Yeah, but then
Who
you
is,
come back to the cycle, because then you will always, but who is realizing, and who is this, and who is that? So it's the mind which works in circles, isn't it? Vicious circles.
Yeah.
Step out of this mind. That's all. And all the rest will appear for what it is. An appearance. It's not who I am. And that difference will even go. So. You see, this question, who am I, is not the same as this question, who is experiencing this? Because then you have to say I, no? I, this body mind. Who am I is a way to try to unglue the concepts we have put on I. It's very different effect. Oh, I have to